This is what makes me. This is what I am.
Feel me?
You can hate me now,
QB,
but I won't stop now, cause I can't stop now.
brave hearts.
You can hate me now,
Come on.
but I won't stop now, cause I can't stop now.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today. I hope this video finds you doing well, and I'll tell you what, I'm doing pretty well, guys. I hit 5,000 cups for the first time in my Clash Royale career, so to speak, and in today's video, what I want to do is talk to you guys about the Royal Giant, certainly the most controversial and hated card in the entire game, and I want to talk a little bit about why, and more importantly, I want to ask the question and hypothesize the answer as to, is the Royal Giant ruining ladder play? Now, I am definitely a hypocrite. So first of all, let me start out by saying I have nothing against Royal Giant users at all. Moreover, I'm just kind of talking about, why the Royal Giant is so popular and why it's not popular amongst the max players, the top players in the world, and what needs to be done to change things. So a lot of you guys who are frequent viewers might know that I am a lurker on Reddit. I think Reddit is one of the best places, far better than the forums, sorry forum people out there, to go for Clash Royale content. And I wanted to share a couple screenshots from Reddit, actually, the last couple days. Royal Giants have been definitely a hot topic there, so I will also include the links. And while we talk about the Royal Giant, I'm going to play a couple wins and then a loss or two, depending on how long the conversation goes. And you guys can see my favorite Royal Giant deck. So again, a bit hypocritical here, but basically I'm in a trophy-pushing clan representing Elite Gaming, and I want us to be as high as possible in trophies, so I have to do my job and play the obvious deck that suits my card levels, and that's actually a great transition here because it really comes down to the fact that Royal Giant is a very, very powerful win condition, and it's a common card, which allows people to over-level it to basically compete above what they would normally be going against in their trophy range. So that's the reason you don't see top players using Royal Giant. You know, maybe one or two of the top 200 in the world are Royal Giant users, but basically they already have maxed out level epics and rares. Now, I don't have maxed out rares or epics personally. I'm a level 12, so I have like level 6 and a couple level 7 epics, and then I have mostly level 9 and 10 rares. So my Royal Giant is definitely my best weapon on ladder play, and nothing else comes close. You guys know how important levels are on ladder. It's crazy. I mean, I would recommend, just to kind of take a quick digression here, if you have like a level 9 Mega Minion and a level 12 minions, I would definitely play the level 12 minions over the level 9 Mega Minion on ladder. Now, it's a little apples and oranges because one card is a rare and one card is common, but you guys get the point. I would go with the higher level card if you can substitute, because card levels do make an absolutely dramatic impact. You can see a lot of the replays I'm going to share today, I'm going with a level 10 Furnace, and a level 10 Furnace, I can't even get a Fire Spirit against a level 13, or basically against anybody who's one level ahead of you on ladder. Same thing goes with even like Fireball, Log against a level 5, a level 3 Log against a level 5 Princess, basically useless. I mean, I can take her down to like 10% HP, but that's not the point. You need to one-shot a Princess with a Log. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself and off track here. Let's get back to the point, Ash. So what I'm trying to say is that the Royal Giant being a common, guys, that's a little bit of an issue. And it's not as easy as the Clash team just saying, okay, let's make it a rare. You can't do that, because then people who invested in leveling it up as a common, there's no real true equivalency. So I don't think that's going to be the solution. But basically, as I was saying, the ladder guys, they already have max rares and max epics and even max legendaries, some of them. So they have no need to use the Royal Giant because their card levels are already on par with that level of strength as the Royal Giant. But if you have a max Royal Giant and you're around 5,000 cups like I am, that's definitely going to be your best bet. For example, I topped off at around 49-20 cups or so playing my normal Hog Rider deck that I use in tournaments, and I just couldn't clear that threshold. But as soon as I subbed in the Royal Giant, because I was, like a lot of you you guys, I was kind of like holding out. I was like, I'm not going to be a Royal Giant player. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But then finally I was like, you know what? I want Elite Gaming to be top 30 again. I want to be at 5,000 cups. I'm going to go ahead and use it. I took this deck from one of my clanmates. I forgot who I used it from. They probably got it from someone else as well. But basically the synergy between the Furnace and the Royal Giant is insane. It is really difficult to stop. So if you want to be like me and kind of take a walk on the dark side, so to speak, maybe give this deck a try. It's my favorite Royal Giant deck. Look at this guy playing Balloon. Interesting there. I would show that replay, but it wasn't that great of a match to watch. Let me try to find another win, and then we'll move on to some losses. I do think it's important to share losses as well with you guys. So what we'll do is this guy has a totally maxed out account, except for the minor, which is level 4. But I'm going to show you again against the level 13. I have the level disadvantage here. He has level 8 epics. It's going to be not a big deal with the Royal Giant. Now, obviously you can see from my battle log, I showed you my entire battle log. I'm not winning every match, so it's not like it's insanely OP, but the fact of the matter is I'm winning well over 50% of my matches, and that's the advantage that you get from it, and that's what you want to do in Clash Royale. You know, you want to win more than you lose at the end of the day. So while you watch this replay here, he's kind of playing an interesting deck with a Witch. You don't see too much Witch in Legendary Arena, but either way, you can take a look at this replay while I kind of ramble on about my solution. So I talked about the problem. The problem is, and you might be asking yourself right now, why? Like, why does it even matter if he's so popular in ladder play because he's a common card that's a win condition? And the answer is pretty simple. The answer is because he's boxing out every other card in the game. You know, like, this is not the way the game was intended to be played. I know the Royale team really prides themselves, and they do actually a really great job of balancing the game, especially for tournament standards, and it's not as easy as simply like nerfing the card. For example, you can't just nerf it because then it affects it in tournament standards. In tournament standard, Royal Giant is actually just fine. I think that it's perfect right now. It doesn't see a ton of action, but you know, it's a great counter card, and if you're playing in a tournament or a bracket that has like a best of 5 or a best of 3, or just playing around with your clan mates in some friendly battles, you can kind of use it to adjust even under tournament standards to counter a specific deck. Namely, it's really great against siege decks, and obviously it's against other great decks with a lot of structures as well, because it can outrange a lot of defensive units. I mean, think about it. The only other card that has the type of range that the Royal Giant has, obviously a little bit more, is the Princess. So that's the only card, a non-building card, non-structure card, that has the range like the Royal Giant, that basically the defender is put in a precarious situation, because you guys have all been there. If you want to defend against the Royal Giant, you have to get that Inferno Tower down at just the right second, right before he locks onto the tower, and then you place your Inferno Tower, and then if you're lucky and you have your timing down 100% correct, you'll have your Crown Tower targeting the Royal Giant, and of course your Inferno Tower as well, and that's what you want to do. But I think if you reduce his range a little bit, now there's more to this, so don't panic yet, because again, I'm not calling for a direct nerf here. I don't think that's the answer, and I don't think changing his rarity is the answer either, but I think his range needs to be nerfed so it's on par with Inferno Tower, so basically it's the same as Inferno Tower, and then that's going to allow the defender to actually place their defensive structures ahead of time. They don't have to get it at the very exact millisecond to counter him, because right now all of his counters can be countered so easily. Even if you play, for example, Barbarians, you know, easily the person can just predict with a Fireball Log or Fireball Zap who's using the Royal Giant. So let me go ahead and play a loss here on the screen right now. So this is actually a recent loss that I had, and this guy, you know, I started pretty strong, and then he totally just demolished me. I think I let the Hog Rider get to my tower. Hate when that happens, and GG to him, certainly. So he has like a kind of a hut spawner deck with the freeze spell. Very interesting deck he's playing here. Anyway, while you watch me get my butt kicked, so my solution, right? So I think his range needs to be just slightly reduced. That way the Inferno Tower can target him. And then on top of that, I think it'd be pretty safe to give him a little HP buff because he has to walk further, he's taking more hits from the crown tower, he'll be the same equidistant range from cannons and inferno towers, defensive structures basically. You won't be able to put him on the other side of the river and just let him pound away at your inferno tower or your cannon or whatever you happen to place a little bit too high up on your side of the arena. So another idea is a pretty simple one, and it's just basically increasing his elixir cost to 7 and keeping everything the way it is. Now, 7 seems pretty expensive, but let me tell you why I think it's a pretty good idea, because think about it, guys. When you counter a Royal Giant, it is very, very difficult to counter a Royal Giant and spend less than 6 elixir, because no one's going to play a Royal Giant all by himself on the bridge. Everybody has something else ready, whether it be a Fireball, a Bomber, it could be a Wizard even, it could be Fire Spirits, Ice Spirit, whatever. They always have a combination, and whatever they end up using, you really have to throw every defensive weapon you possibly have at them, and it's really tough to gain a positive elixir advantage when you're playing against a Royal Giant. I mean, I know that firsthand because I play so often now, or the last few days, with the Royal Giant, and I see my opponent. By the way, here's where the Hog comes in and absolutely devastates me in this match here. One mistake, guys, one mistake, and you can see I overcommitted a little bit on offense. Here I am talking about how difficult it is to counter him, but you know, Barbarian Huts can actually be pretty difficult for a Royal Giant user to go up against, and you can see with 3 Huts and double elixir, I can just kiss this match goodbye. So guys, those are my 2 solutions. I'm curious what you guys think about Royal Giant. Now remember, there's really no reason to take any kind of aggressive action or be upset when somebody uses Royal Giant in your clan or against you or whatever, because it's just the fact of the game is that it's a really strong card, and of course because it's a common. It's a common card that most people have leveled up, and a level 13 Royal Giant is way better than a level 10 whatever, you know, level 10 Giant, at least in my opinion. You know, if I had a level 11 Giant, I wouldn't have to use the Royal Giant anymore because I could lean on that maxed out rare, which I believe is at least on par or probably even a little bit better than a maxed out common, as a win condition that is. So guys, I want to hear, what do you think? Should it be nerfed? Or should it be changed? Or do you like it the way it is? Let me know. I don't think the card is a bad card. I actually think it's an awesome card. I remember the first time I used it in Helsinki tournament and the crowd went wild. That's before anybody used the Royal Giant. It was brand new to the game. Let me know in the comments, by the way, if you remember that. Not a lot of people were around back then. That was almost a year ago now, guys. Anyway, I'm reminiscing and the video is supposed to be over. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and thank you in advance for your feedback. I truly appreciate it, and I appreciate every single one of you guys right now watching this video. Guys, can't thank you enough, and as always, take care, guys.